Let's take a look at example 2. Francine just bought a new car for $32,000. She plans on keeping the car as long as she is still able to get at least $18,000 when she finally decides to sell it. If the average depreciation rate for cars is 15% per year, how many years will she own the car before she needs to sell it? So we need to identify what the A, the R, and the T are for this problem. Now, she buys the car for $32,000, so that's the starting amount, so that's what we're going to be using for A. Here in the problem it says the depreciation rate for cars is 15%. So that 15% is what we're going to be using for the rate. Now the other piece of information here is that word depreciation. That means that this is representing exponential decay, so we are going to be using subtraction in our equation and not addition. Now, there's not a time frame given to us like in example 1. That's actually what we are trying to find out here. But there is another piece of info that's important that we're going to be using, and that Francine wants to get at least $18,000 for her car when she decides to sell it. So this actually is what we're going to be using for the Y value. Okay, now our A, like we said, is going to be $32,000, and our rate is going to be 15%. But remember, you want to convert that to a decimal, so you're going to be using 0.15. So one approach to solving this problem is actually just to create a table and sort of play around with the problem a little bit. We have one column that's associated with the time. We have one column where we're just going to substitute all of our information into our equation. And then our last column is going to tell us what that car is worth after so many years. So after the first year, Francine's car is going to be valued at $27,200. And you can see all the information we substituted into that exponential decay equation. After 2 years, again, after we do our substituting and evaluating, we can see that Francine's car is going to be valued at $23,120. So she definitely can keep the car for 2 years before she needs to sell it, because we have not yet reached that $18,000. For year 3, again, after we substitute and evaluate, Francine's car is valued at $19,652. So here, if she decides to sell after year 3, she'll still be making at least that $18,000. Going ahead and looking at if she were to keep the car for 4 years, after the car depreciates, it's going to be valued at $16,704.20. So here, if she were to keep the car for 4 years and then try to sell it, she's actually not going to be making as much money as she wants to, because she wants to make at least $18,000. So then how many years can Francine keep the car before she has to sell? The answer would be 3, because if she sells after she keeps the car for 3 years, she should be able to still get $19,652.